This is a video on how to do your shackles, how to replace them without a torch. It takes a while and is a pain in the butt, but it's possible. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, here's the finished product, brand new shackle on my F250. A little bit dark, but the rest of the video is lit up. Well, here's the shackle that's rusted through, and I've already been hammering on it. What you want to do is use an impact. Make sure you get a 6-sided socket, and after you jacked up your truck properly to where you think that there's no tension on the spring, use an impact. It's going to take you a while to get all the rust off the bolt. See, I've pretty much cleaned all the rust off. You can only get so much off. After you start hammering on it, you'll get more rust off. It might take you half an hour, over half an hour to use an impact to get it to the point where it's loose. What I do is I'll use the impact for about 5 minutes. I'll heat up the bolt, head of the bolt, then heat up the nut, and try to get in between here. It's okay if your bushing burns a little bit. You're going to destroy it. You'll have to replace the bushing. See, this was actually barely connected before I started, but I just now got a little bit of movement and I broke it free. But use the impact, heat it up. Use the impact, heat it up, break all the rust free. Every time you repeat that process, you'll see more and more rust falling. Eventually, you'll get movement. This bushing is what causes you a lot of problems. It freezes to the bolt. So, once you start getting a little bit of movement, go ahead and put a socket and a breaker bar on the other side. You don't want to use a breaker bar on this side because you risk rounding this off, hurting yourself, whatever. The only thing that's going to break this free is the vibration from an impact. And mind you, I'm only using about a $40 impact. It's nothing special. So you can do this, no problem. And also you want to try going backwards, reverse, and then also forward for a little bit. Because when you do this, you're grinding up the rust and vacating it. So you want to do that too. Don't just go backwards. So right now I'm going to continue to try to work it forward and backwards till I get more and more movement, and eventually it'll just spin off as I hold the breaker bar. So it's been about 5 minutes since I said work it back and forth, and it's just now starting to really break free, so I was going to capture that. See how it stops? I'll go forward. Don't go too far. Yeah, full pressure. I'm gonna try to get this bolt off. Okay. Well, it looks like this nut had a stopper. I didn't realize that. It's okay to use this anyway, because these stoppers will break. Oh yeah. wobbling a little bit, but probably because this was almost gone before I started. But you know what? I'm a believer, don't fix what's not broken. And this bushing looks okay. Now, I don't have a good set of torches, so how I remove the rivets is this. I'll take my cut-off tool, and with the cutting wheel, 3-inch cutting wheel, I'll cut an X, one X, so I'll go down, and then sideways, down, sideways, on all the rivets, and I take my impact hammer, and I'll buzz it off one increment at a time, and if it doesn't want to buzz off, I'll X it up a little bit more. And what's left, I'll pop out using a punch on my hammer, impact hammer. You gotta watch out. There's fuel lines, brake lines back here, so you gotta watch what you do. Oh yeah, that rivet just falling apart. Also, make sure you don't have any gas leaks, because it could be bad. Okay, so I got my X drawed in the rivet, and then now I'm going to proceed to use my air hammer with my chisel. Also, you might want to use ear protection using the air hammer because it's pretty loud in an enclosed space. I'm not, however. Alright, I pretty well got the rivet off. I'm going to try punching it, see if it breaks free a little bit. If that don't work, I'm going to drill a hole right here, try to get the remainder of it off. So I'm going to go from there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit with my cut-off wheel before I try punching it out. Try to get flush, a little more flush to the surface of the old shackle. So. Don't want it quite concrete, which is no big deal. I'm gonna drill a hole right here and then try to punch it out again. Alright, at this moment I have all the rivets, the heads of all the rivets smeared off, and a little bit of a hole started in each one. Now, I end up putting on some hearing protection just because your ears will ring doing this. Now when you do this, it is dangerous. You can hurt yourself with the air hammer, and you can cut yourself with the cutting wheel because it's tight quarters. So that's a risk you take. A torch is a lot faster and easier, but it's just to show you don't have to have a torch. You're looking about 10-20 minutes per each rivet. Faster if you got a better air supply. So now I'm going to try to knock them out. If I can't get them to knock them out, I'm going to start separating the shackle from the frame and then try to knock them out again. Alright, I got the shackle about ready to come off. And then the rivets want to pop off for some reason. Pop through. They normally should just pop through, but I guess this one doesn't want to do it. So what I do, I take the punch and I just keep smashing the rivets. The punch almost acts like a drill because it just destroys the rivets. I gotta keep punching about to where almost you get to the frame. Really don't want to go in the frame in case you don't have it lined up right. Like here, I drilled, but that's where I started my chisel, so it's okay if you just do it maybe one spot. So after that, find the corners and try chiseling up the corners until it starts popping out. And also, just keep hitting the shackle with a hammer this way, any way pretty much, but mostly away from the frame. Over here, this side's all popped off. Just find the corner, the shackle, and just chisel right up it. If the rivets are destroyed enough, they'll just pop off the shackle. And just keep finding corners and chiseling them. So I'm about ready to finish this one off. See what we got underneath here. Well, of course, all the rivets are left. So my next job is getting rid of these rivets. Alright, so I'm going to be using the chisel to slice what's sticking out off and then try punching them out. Breaking free. Just want to make sure I don't damage anything on the other side. Pull away the electrical. There it goes. So I'm going to repeat that process for the remaining 5. I removed all the rivets. I took my sledgehammer and tapped all the high spots down. And then ground it off a little bit. See, I don't have a really good angle grinder, otherwise I'd angle grind this whole area. Actually, I don't have an angle grinder at all, but I mean, I do have my drill and a wheel, but I just took the wire brush and went to it without breaking, I did much as I could without, destroying my wrist. And then blew it off with some air and then sprayed it off some carburetor cleaner, and that's drying right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 4 or 5 coats of Rust-Oleum on there. This is not to refinish the frame, it's just to try to get a little bit of protection from where I exposed the metal. Okay, I got it painted. I got it in here, the shackle. I got 3 bolts started. Now, of course, this is an engineer designed this. So, in other words, it's a pain in the ass to get those bolts in, because the gas tank's in the way. You could either drop the gas tank, or you can do what I'm doing, not dropping the gas tank, because I don't feel like it. I got a pretty good way of getting those bolts through. Is obviously once you line up the holes as best you can, what you do is this: get a magnetic telescoping magnet, put it through the hole, as much as you can. Then take your bolt, fish it till you find your magnet, and then pull it through with your magnet. That way you don't have to, the magnet will snap to the bolt, so you don't have to find that hole with your hands all cockeyed. Once you find the magnet, it'll snap to the magnet and you can pull it through. I got all the bolts bolted down. Real pain in the butt. On the back, I had to alternate between a wrench and a breaker bar to hold the bolts in place while I use the impact on the nuts in the front. Now I'm getting ready to line up the leaf spring hole again. You see it's not lined up. But what I do is I put this breaker bar in here to get the appropriate height. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the truck, and as I lower the truck, it'll push the leaf spring forward, because it'll flatten out the leaf spring, making it longer. Okay, I got it lined up real good. You see this breaker bar gets appropriate height. And I actually had to take all the weight off the jack, so all the weight that would normally be on this shackle is on the shackle right now. Now after I let the weight off, I had to tap the spring with a hammer to get it to move a little bit, and then also I put in my punch with my air hammer, just pried it forward a little bit, and I just got it right in place, just the way it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna pump a couple pumps of grease in there and put the bolt in and tighten it down. Now when you tighten this down, since this has the keeper on the back, you don't really need the socket on there, but I'm going to use it anyway so I don't damage the keeper. Put the bolt through the leaf spring. I had to, well, of course, tap it in with the hammer, and then I like to use the impact so it spins it instead of getting punched through it in case there's a problem. On this side, I had to use the breaker bar to push down and pry the leaf spring down a little bit on this side, because leaf spring had a bit of a twist to it to line up with this hole. So at this moment, I put the nut on, tighten it up, and this project will be done.